To say, I believe it is in our nature to explore, to reach out into the unknown. Ernest Shackleton. In 1907, Sir Ernest Shackleton led one of history's most famous explorations of the Antarctic, ordering 25 cases of Mackinlay's rare old Highland malt whiskey for the expedition. 25 cases?
That's 6 bottles per case. So that's a little over 100 bottles.
Well, I guess if you don't have clean water, you can at least drink whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
Inspired by this original malt whiskey, Shackleton offers robust notes of vanilla, honey, ginger, and licorice with a whisper of bonfire smoke. Ginger. I wonder if that's what I was tasting.
All right, let's get this done.
I was first out here. I win.
Yes, so you get to announce the show.
I'm Billy. This is Kurt. This is Whiskey Buds. We're trying a whole bunch of whiskeys to see which one's the best one. So, you know. I don't know where I was going with that.
Dude, actually, I think that was pretty slick. So, we were discussing before we filmed this episode. Billy said he wanted a whiskey with a story.
Oh, yeah, I said that.
So, I found a whiskey with a story that just happened to be in the cabinet.
Is it like the Minor Sweat one?
No, this one's actually a little bit beyond that. Shackleton. All right, I'll go ahead and put this in here. Do you know who Ernest Shackleton is? Or was?
Prisoner?
Nope. He was an explorer.
Oh. Found this whiskey?
No. So, Ernest Shackleton ran an expedition to Antarctica. Right?
And this is made from glacier water?
No. So here's, we got to, so Ernest Shackleton, for anybody who doesn't know, they had a hellacious journey to Antarctica, right? They wanted to explore the continent.
got them through it.
No.
Oh, come on.
This whiskey was when they went and re-explored Antarctica after the Shackleton, whole experience, right?
Okay.
After they got back, and it was a huge ordeal, right? Like, it was not like they had to eat their sled dogs and work their way across. Like, it was quite the thing, right?
That's messed up.
So I printed it out. Ernest Shackleton put out a wanted ad to find people to go on the expedition with him, right?
Okay.
Because he's doing this expedition to explore an unexplored continent, a newly found continent of Antarctica.
That's brave.
Yeah, I should have him read it, but he's experiencing this with you, so I'm going to read it to him so he can. All right, men wanted. That's what it says. That's
you
big,
just
bold
think
writing.
I can't read.
We all know you have
ahead.
troubles, but it really is okay. So men wanted for hazardous journey, small wages, bitter cold, long months of complete darkness, constant danger, safe return doubtful, honor and recognition in case of success. Ernest Shackleton. Does that sound like something you would answer?
No.
So talk about truth in advertising. That's the advertisement he did. He got a group of guys together, right? And they got together their supplies and they went down to explore Antarctica. Now, along the supplies they took, right? They took whiskey with them.
Naturally, as you do.
Later on, a new expedition of Antarctica went down and happened to find one of their first encampments, one of their first little settlement things where they stopped for the night, right? Or stopped to set up during their expedition. They happened to find several intact cases of whiskey that was brought with the expedition in the ice. This is the closest modern day rendition that they can get. They basically analyzed it and reverse engineered it to make their whiskey as close to what those people would have taken with them.
Wait a minute.
While...
Are you telling me there's whiskey scientists that can reverse engineer whiskey?
Dude, did we not discuss a couple of weeks ago how they have to wait 15 years and this and that and they know this? The dudes for whiskey are very
serious
Yes.
about their whiskey making.
Passionate. That's the word.
Okay, how do you leave a bunch of whiskey just in the ice?
Well, first off, you leave the whiskey because you're eating your sled dogs, so the whiskey is, secondary at that point.
Well, you need something to wash that down with. Right?
And the ice was then built up, and then they happened to just stumble upon it at some point.
Oh man, can you imagine waking up, your whiskey's like frozen into the ground, and you're like, I can't get it out.
Yeah, like digging it out of the ice, like.
Oh.
Oh man, so that's the story behind.
Then
it.
you get your paycheck, and you're like, God, worst trip ever.
Too dark, you can't even see it, dude. Like,
Right? Is that a 6 or a 9 or?
I needed to do the thing because they ended up going through like across the continent, like their boat sank or something like that. They got lost. They had to eat their sled dogs. Like he ends up getting them to some other place where they're able to cross, and they're able to then they're like on another continent. And they have to cross the continent on foot. It was a hellacious ordeal. The fact that they even made it back alive is what's really truly impressive of the whole story.
So he made it, huh?
Yeah.
So now he's known as the worst tour guide ever.
Dude, I mean, no, because his ad told you exactly what you're going to expect. So this is the modern day, like, reverse engineering of what they would have taken with them on that journey.
1907 British art. Okay. It's got a little navigation thing on the top there. It's a cool looking bottle.
Compass, yeah.
All right.
So, I mean, whether it's good or bad is irrelevant when you're sitting in Antarctica.
Freezing your
nuts off.
Yeah.
You're trying to say that politely?
I was trying to pick a body part.
After you said you take my little nipples to France.
Hey, that was a quote. I didn't come up with that on my own.
And neither did I. Mine was like a ready known phrase.
This smells somewhat familiar.
It is scotch.
Well, I mean, it's not like just some crazy sled dog brew or something I've never smelled before. It's like
made with dog piss.
Okay, you try this first. You're drinking first. Yeah, you probably did that just like, oh yeah, and just dump a little out and be like, yeah, I can trick him into drinking it now.
Uh-huh.
Doesn't smell bad.
No, it's actually, smells like scotch. I think it's a blended scotch. I don't think it's single malt, of course. Yeah, blended malt scotch. So.
Okay, go. You feel like barking?
No.
Okay, I'm going to try it then. Ow. Don't do that. It's unfair.
I couldn't help it. Oh, man.
Okay, that made me drink it weird, but it didn't seem too bad.
Yeah. The worst thing was the method of drinking.
Yeah, okay, don't bark this time.
Don't put the idea in my head. Yeah.
So how would you describe this? It's because we haven't said a descriptive word about it yet.
Not at all, other than, it's history. I like it. Right?
Good try. All right.
Tastes like scotch.
All right. It's fairly smooth.
Yeah.
It doesn't really have any bubbles.
Okay.
It's not very complex.
40%.
Yeah, it's not. Not much alcohol.
Yeah, it's not harsh. It's not complex. There's not a lot going on. It's just a simple pleasing, right? Just pleasant.
Good pretty decent aftertaste. I like the first touch, and then kind of in the middle, I don't really enjoy it a whole lot, but then the aftertaste is good.
Okay.
No, it's got it's not bitter, but it's maybe a little bitter in the middle.
I'm not catching that. At least not to like a sour bitter or something.
No, not a sour bitter, but it's like just after the first hit and then before the finish, it's not like flavorful or anything else. It's just
it's like creamy and like continues the thing, and then it's like when it goes into the full on finish, that's when I'm like less interested. But the initial taste followed by the middle, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of mediocre, but I mean it's still
drinkable.
Yeah,
right.
And fun story.
Yeah, if you're in the middle of Antarctica, I bet it would taste really good.
I don't even want to think about it.
You know what would go good with this? Side of sled dog. All right.
It's horrible.
Thank you.
I was thinking like a fire. Freezing my...
Oh, man. Yeah.
All right.
All right. For anybody watching this still, like, I'm sorry.
Hey, don't knock until you try it, right?
Yeah, I don't know if that's something I want to try.
Yeah, it does have like a pretty lengthy aftertaste.
It really does. I'm still tasting it even now. Even after the bad jokes left bad taste in my mouth.
That's good if you happen to leave it frozen in the ice.
Probably would really be. All right.
Looks like it still tastes it.
Yeah.
I miss my whiskey.
There you go. Join us next week. Cheers, everybody.